You're all set, Chairperson.
Great, thank you so much, Recording Secretary. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the February 23rd, 2023 Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission regular meeting to order at 5:34. This meeting is taking place entirely by teleconference via Zoom. The public is accessing the meeting via the Santana YouTube channel, the city's website, or via Zoom. The commission members and I, along with city staff and recording secretary, are in different locations. Please bear with us as the technology may disrupt the flow of the meeting. Will the recording secretary please call roll?
Thank you, Chairperson. Commissioner Matthews,
Present.
Commissioner Torres,
Present.
Commissioner Gomez,
Present.
Commissioner Nelson, Commissioner Wu,
Here, I am commuting, but I'll be listening in.
duly noted. Commissioner Diaz,
Present.
Chairperson Herrera.
Present.
You have a quorum, Chairperson.
Great, thank you so much. Will you please all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Great. So before I continue, I do want to welcome our new commissioners. We have two new commissioners, Celica Diaz and Maria Zacarias Torres, to the commission. So please, if you all want to just welcome the two folks here. Thank you all so much for being a part of the commission and really contributing your time, for the community in the city of Santana. I also want to thank our outgoing commissioners, Commissioner Andres Ramirez and Alfredo Torreblanca, as they have also served in the previous role. So I also want to thank them for their time and effort on the commission. Next on the agenda is our presentations for employees of the month. This is the second meeting where we are recognizing employees of the Parks, Recs team, our zoo, and library. So please continue to elevate folks that are out there in the community, in our city, that are working for our residents. So I have a couple here that I am going to read out. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's see. I would first like to start with Amber Sudo. So hi, Amber. So Amber started with the zoo as a volunteer in October 2017 when she was completing her master's degree in environmental studies from Cal State Fullerton. Amber has a passion for nature, reptiles, and amphibians, and was eager to join the zoo team. In May 2018, Amber was hired as a part-time program coordinator with the focus on the zoo's conservation and outreach program. Amber is critical to the success of the mountain yellow-legged frog conservation program at the zoo. The mountain yellow-legged frogs are native and federally endangered species. Oh my God, oh no. Okay, so it's an endangered species that's living on the edge of extinction. Amber leads the zoo's involvement with the multi-agency collaborative conservation program for their recovery. From 2020 to 2022, Amber successfully reared the first cohort of tadpoles, and they were released last summer. Oh my God, that's so exciting. Amber is now raising a larger second cohort of tadpoles. Because there's so little information on the captive care and rearing of this species, Amber spends time talking to colleagues at other zoos and doing research to learn more. Her efforts have paved the way for our success and participation in this critical Southern California conservation program. Amber is so eager to help in other aspects of the zoo and participated in the creation of the zoo's first diversity, equity, and accessibility and inclusion plan. Amber will give a hand to anyone that needs it and always volunteers to assist in zoo-wide community events like Boo at the Zoo. We commend Amber on a job well done and thank her for her contributions serving both wildlife and our community. So Amber, we really thank you as a part of the commission for your work. So if folks can really give her a round of applause. Let me go ahead and read our next employee of the month. So we have Janelle Parsons. Janelle Parsons joined the city over 20 years ago. Oh my God, okay. As a part-time program coordinator in the zoo education program, where she taught camp during the summer. Janelle pursued another career for many years, but maintained her involvement with the zoo as she worked on her weekends presenting education programs for families and scouts. In 2020, the zoo was able to expand education programs and community outreach with development of the Community Connections, the Zoo and You initiative. Later that year, we were happy to welcome Janelle into a larger role at the zoo as a full-time education specialist. Janelle is involved in all aspects of the education department, from mentoring new staff to training ambassador animals. However, she's instrumental in developing and leading the ECO, which is the Empowering Communities Outdoors Park Pop-Ups program. The ECO Park Pop-Ups started as an idea to improve the zoo reaches the community with nature-based activities. One way is to meet people where they're at. Janelle started this program with a thorough survey of every park and recreation facility in the city of Santa Ana. All aspects were noted, including the size, traffic patterns, and adjacent schools and access. There was no precedent for the program because the zoo had never done a similar outreach program before. Now going into the third year of the park pop-ups, the program has generated a following and strengthened the established community relationships. The park pop-ups have further expanded to include STEM programs for Santa Ana recreation centers and community organizations. In Janelle's role, she has exponentially expanded the zoo's engagement and visibility at city events and throughout the community with informal science and environmental education programs. So if we can please just take this moment to congratulate Janelle Parsons on a job well done. Thank you so much for your work and contribution to the city. We have a third employee of the month. We have so many great employees. This is great. I'm glad that we're honoring so many. Okay, let me pull up this third one. Okay, our third employee of the month is Elijah Villasenor or Villasenor. Nearly a year ago, Elijah started his journey with the City of Santa Ana Parks and Recs Department at Memorial Park Community Center. As a new employee, he dedicated many summer nights to the success of movie nights and was instrumental in the implementation of drop-in recreational programs at Memorial. His sense of responsibility and reliability soon brought him over to Roosevelt Walker Community Center. At Roosevelt Walker, he's been essential to the day-to-day operations. Mr. Villasenor makes sure tasks are followed and completed and gives a warm welcome to every community member who enters the door. Besides continuously making himself available to a wide range of assignments, he's always polite, happily contributes, and is a pleasure to work with. They are a gem and deserves the highest recognition for his hard work and dedication. So if you all can please welcome Elijah for congratulating them on being Employee of the Month. Thank you so much, Elijah. We have one more Employee of the Month. Our last Employee of the Month is Hiram Urebe. Hiram is one of the most dedicated employees to Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Agency. He regularly manages to exceed expectations and meets challenging deadlines, all with enthusiasm and a smile on their face. They bring a creative flair to the many sections of the agency, and they help the exciting programs and events come to life through marketing materials and digital engagements. In recent months, they've worked overtime, oh my God, regularly to meet the deadlines and ensure that our programs and events are being met. He engages graphics, photography skills, social media presence have brought new and enthusiastic attention to the agency. They've helped grow the social media following by over 40%. Oh my God, that's a lot. in the last 3 months. On top of that, their day-to-day graphic designing responsibilities, they managed to take on major capital improvement projects like the new Santana Stadium scoreboard, and they work closely to assist other agencies with their project design needs. They are a staple to the agency and they operate behind the scenes to help support their fellow coworkers. He plays an integral role in the success of our agency, and as a whole, it is an honor to recommend him as Employee of the Month. So if y'all can welcome Hiram in their Employee of the Month being recognized. Woo!
Roberto, he's actually in here listening down there at the bottom, so he's probably got that big smile on his face. But he's one of a kind. So
Yes, he does have that big smile on his face right now.
Yeah.
And he's kind of shy. He doesn't want to come on camera.
So
Executive Director Scott, I don't know if you have any words outside of what was mentioned here for Employees of the Month.
no, it's like I said, it's just something we brought back, and I know Brian's been talking about doing it with the library as well. But like I said, we not only do part-time, we also recognize full-time, because they are a very integral part of what we do. And what's unique about our department is we have, Parks Recreations, which is its own animal by itself. And then we got all the animals at the zoo, which is even better. So we've got 2 divisions within the parks and so many hardworking people. And, we're talking about Janelle. For those of you who have gone out to our parks events, she's usually out there, movie nights, concerts with the animals, education. She's such a great person, heart of gold. And all these guys, we have so many great, coworkers, and we are very blessed. So, congratulations to them all. And, and one of the exciting things is next month we'll be doing the volunteer of the quarter, which, is going to be exciting too, because we have so many great volunteers out there. So yeah, it's awesome. Awesome.
Great, thank you. Manager Fisher, I don't know if you would like to also add any words.
Yeah, we have so many great employees at the zoo, and it's wonderful to be able to recognize them in this forum. And working Amber has learned so much in the year she's been at the zoo, and it's been wonderful to see her grow, and the impacts that she has with the program she works with are tremendous. And then Janelle has been a part of our team for so many years. I actually couldn't find, I had to do some more research to find her actual starting year. I think it was around 2003, way back when we were zoo camp instructors together. But it's been great that we've been able to retain her in a greater capacity than we've ever had in the past. And definitely she has gotten to know the community very well over the last 2 years.
Great, thank you so much. I will now move on to the next item on our agenda is a time for public comments. Recording Secretary, do we have any public comments or anyone from the public that wishes to speak?
Thank you, Chairperson Herrera. Members of the public, if you would like to provide a comment this evening, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom. I do believe we do have a comment, Commissioner Herrera. Cynthia, you have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Perez. I live on the borderline of Ward 5 and 3 in the Santa Anita area. I and a group of parents and children attend, we go every Monday to Campesino Park, and we've observed a couple things. I'm going to go really quick. The restrooms there, even though they're renovated and we appreciate the renovation, they're not accessible. Sometimes they're locked. They're also not kept up with soap and tissue paper. So we would like to see a little bit more improvement on that, or see how we can continue getting support, because we've been leaving emails, voicemails. It's also really hard to understand who's overseeing the upkeeping of the space. We're aware of, because we've made an effort to talk to the security that shows up. Seems to be that there's a third party taking care of the park, and the city's not really doing much about it besides being in a contract with this group. So we would like to see how it could be more accessible and then how we can continue being in contact with people that are actually in charge of the space. My other point is, that clarification. How long will this like partnership with the security group continue, and when will the city Parks and Rec group take more initiative to continue relationship with the community and the space? As well as sometimes the park gets closed off because the grass needs to be helped to get to grow, right? Because it gets like ruined with people playing sports. Santa Ana PD also goes on our grass multiple times a day to do security rounds instead of walking. So we would appreciate if Santa Ana PD and the recreational Parks and Rec can like work on them to do a protocol to not do that, so we can have more access to our green space. Now regarding recreational spaces, just a suggestion, Fountain Valley has a website with all the rental information that is more accurate, is computer friendly, PDF file friendly. So just a suggestion that we can work on doing something like that. That way, everything that is inaccurate, like days of notice for rental of spaces or point of contact for information for the facilities could just get better. I'm only bringing this up because I recently have been searching on how to like use the spaces here in Santa Ana because it is more affordable as a resident, but it's also not as accessible with time and resources. So I would like to see if there's a way that we can work on getting more people to use the spaces, but making it understandable and accessible for folks in the community. And just as an example, Salgado Center has a lot of paperwork still on. You have to go in person, check it out, talk to people. Jerome has a PDF file that you can like get emailed. So that's just like a thing. There's paperwork and protocols that are not being upkept the same. So it'd be nice to have that, especially because on the website where it says like the rental list of facilities, some of those numbers are inaccurate. Some of the people of contact are inaccurate. So it'd be good to revise that. And the last thing would be having gardens in the west side of Santa Ana, or I don't know what it's considered, but after the riverbed, in Santa Anita Park, Salgado Center, and Campesino Park.
Thank you for your comment. Your time is up. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Chairperson, without seeing any other raised hands, we are no longer having any more public comments.
Right. Thank you so much for the public for your comments. It's definitely helpful. I encourage the public to continue to send in emails, send communication to our Parks and Recs department or attend our Parks and Recs meeting to make these comments. It's always helpful for us and for the department to really, sometimes we need additional eyes on the ground, and you all are helpful in helping to do that for us to improve our parks and our park experiences. Great. Okay, so next on the agenda is the consent calendar. Items 1 and 2 are the minutes of the regular meeting of January 26, 2023 and excused absences. So that's where you'll find our last meeting notes and the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 26, 2023 meeting and excused absences?
This is Ruby Woo. I so move.
Okay, would anyone like to second?
Samina, I second that.
Okay, thank you so much, Amina. I believe we have to take a vote.
That is correct, Chairperson. Commissioner Matthews,
Yes.
Commissioner Gomez,
Yes.
Commissioner Wu,
Yes.
and Commissioner Herrera.
Yes.
Commissioners Torres and Diaz abstain as they were not part of the last meeting beforehand.
Great, thank you so much. Next on the agenda is new business. Tonight we have 2 items. I will turn this over to Maria Ceja of PlaceWorks for the new outdoor library at Jerome Park presentation. Maria, I believe you have the floor.
I'm actually going to pass it off to Jesse Jones, who's the project manager for this project. So I'll pass it off to Jesse.
Hi, everyone. Thanks. I am Jessie Jones. I'm a landscape architect at Placeworks, and I'm actually going to pass it to Brian Sternberg first because this is a project that's really hosted out of the library, and I'd like him to kind of intro the project for the commissioners.
Thank you so much, Jesse, and thank you, members of the commission, for having us tonight. This is something that the Library Services Agency is really excited about. We are really thrilled to start design on what I believe is a one-of-a-kind project, at least in the United States. I don't know of anything similar to this, but the aim of this project is to create an outdoor public library using a portion of Jerome Park, the portion that is closest to McFadden. And so when we think about this space, we think about all the different things that your public library would have, but outside and accessible to anyone at any time. So I'm going to turn it over to Jessie, and she's going to walk you through some design concepts that we have, a couple of different options, and we'd like to get the commission's feedback on what this space, this public library space, should look like. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jessie Jones and Placeworks. Thank you.
All right. Back to me. So thank you also, just to reiterate Brian's comment, thanks for having us today. We're sort of in the early stages of designing this project. So why we're here today is to get your feedback on some alternatives that we've developed. Before I kind of do my screen share, I just want to say Maria Ceja is on our team for community outreach. Maria is a lifelong resident of Santa Ana and has been kind of coordinating with residents in the neighborhood, as well as different community groups throughout the city to get some feedback on the concepts that we've developed. So we'll talk about that a little bit at the end, but we'd love to hear your feedback about the community engagement approach as well. So I'm gonna share screen. All right, can everyone see my screen? All right, they have that. So as we mentioned, we're talking about a new outdoor library project at Jerome Park. And we're going to walk through some design alternatives. I also did want to mention that in addition to Brian at the public library, we're also working with Public Works, and our project manager there is Ed Torres, and we've been working with Michelle Cabanas and Marcelo Sevilla as well, just to kind of recognize the entire project team. I want to make sure I kind of give everyone the full group there. So just to kind of give everyone some context, what we're talking about, Jerome Park is sort of central Santa Ana, and it's kind of this park that has the senior center, the Jerome Center, and a few elementary schools nearby. So when we're thinking about the outdoor library space, it's not thinking about the entire park itself, just the kind of the small section closest to McFadden. So it's a small kind of piece right at the entry point, right across from the senior center. So if you can see my cursor here, the senior center is here on McFadden, and it's this little blue piece here. And then up here, you can sort of see the project area that we're looking at. So we started the project with some general existing conditions. We're working in an existing park. So we want to make sure that we're integrating this new project into an existing park that is functioning. And so thinking about some of the things we need to retain in the park, like those big existing shade trees, wanting to make sure we're keeping them there. Some things that we need to consider about circulation, maintaining access to existing facilities, parking, and things we could also improve, things that could be kind of improved through this project for the outdoor library could also be improved for the park. Also, the impetus for this project is to create an outdoor library. Like Brian was mentioning, this is a project that will be definitely the first outdoor library in Santa Ana. Really kind of, it's a new novel idea. It will be anchored by this mobile library that you can check out books, different pieces of library programming while it's open. So there won't be a librarian there. It's kind of a kiosk that you can go and check out things, books, as well as other things that you could check out from the library. That will anchor the space. But then around it, there will be other amenities that kind of tie into that use, so that the park itself, or part of the outdoor library, has other things, places for learning, places for programs, places for playing. So it's anchored by the library, but it's the full space is considered the outdoor library. So what we've done as part of the design team is we've developed two alternatives, and these are very schematic. So these are some general rendering or drawings of what these are, but what we want to talk to you today is kind of about the two ideas that we've put together and your feedback on kind of what's the way to move forward. We don't have to pick one or the other. We can talk about the pieces that you like of each one or dislike or want to add. And then we'll come to another another meeting, we'll present a preferred alternative where we take your feedback and kind of combine it. So I'm going to walk through these individually. The first one is called the Call of the Wild. And the idea here is trying to create a space that's really focused on nature play, a place for calm, respite. Things that would be in this area would be areas for reading, for quiet, calm reflection, some art space, a lot of materials that are kind of tied to natural settings, places to play with water, places to play with different natural elements. So this is kind of a general mood board for what this flight would feel like. Here's the kind of bubble diagram of what you would see in this site and in this option. Again, we're anchored by our library kiosk space. The space around the kiosk is really kind of a quiet reading zone, relaxation zone. We've created this little nook. We think that the site is relatively flat. And so one of the things we could do to kind of create some dynamic elements within the site is kind of create a little topography. We know that we want to keep everything low so that we maintain clear lines of sight, but to create a little area to kind of feel enclosed and kind of in a little nook, but with also maintaining clear visibility around the site. As you move to the east side of the park or the outdoor library, have a little bit more active space, focusing on an outdoor classroom and nature making space. I was listening to when you were presenting about the zoo employee who runs the eco program, something like that. You could run programs tied to nature related things. Other programs would be run out of there. The existing playground would be transformed into a kind of nature play area, kind of focused on tree houses, trees, pieces of wood, things to climb that kind of have this natural look to it. The project will also include a lot of waterwise waterwise planting. A big part of this project will be converting a lot of the lawn that's there into more drought tolerant species. And we want to also make sure that as we do that, we create educational components so that residents can sort of recognize that waterwise planting and take some ideas home. So this is sort of the bubble diagram, and I'll walk through some images of what this could look like. So as I was mentioning, kind of that quiet side on the west side, here's some images of what you could see, some stacked seating, some places to kind of feel like you can get away and read and relax, have lunch, kind of feel like you're in sort of a forested zone. That kind of outdoor programming space to have classroom, spaces to do outdoor art activities that kind of you could use natural materials to create kind of water play, places for kind of artistic play elements inside of it, kind of themed around natural elements like animals and things you would see in the wild. The play space would be really kind of focused on materials that are natural tones, have lots of wood, have elements that that you would kind of experience an outdoor or natural experience kind of tied to play that that you feel you're kind of getting away from, kind of getting into this natural space. The kiosk itself will be kind of the central element that you'll see. It's kind of the biggest piece of development that would be part of the outdoor library. So we've thought a little bit about how that could look. So this is the entry point to the outdoor library, kind of the existing conditions. And here's a proposal for what that kiosk could look like. So the kiosk itself will be enclosed inside a structure that can be locked overnight. And so we want to make sure that we're creating something that kind of has a visual presence and can bring people into the park. So this is kind of the one suggestion for what that could be. We know we want to say library somewhere so that people know that this is what it is. So here's one option. Here's another themed around the natural, kind of maybe it's not quite as bright, maybe a little bit more subdued, but using some textures that are remnant of the natural surroundings. So again, I'm just going to kind of do that site plan one more time. So here's our existing conditions, and here's the proposed conditions in a site plan, kind of the bubble diagram, a little bit more detail. You can see kind of that reading nook. Here's our outdoor library space, and here's kind of the dynamic play area. And I will have a little time to answer more questions about these, but I'm kind of, for time, going to go kind of quickly through them. So I'm going to switch now to the second option, which is called Where the Sidewalk Ends. And so this option is really focused on kind of a more high energy space. You can see from this mood board that we put together, it's really got a lot more vibrant colors. There's a lot more activity happening. It's really focused on trying to create kind of a mini city inside of this small space. It's anchored by the kiosk itself, and also this little track where young people could kind of navigate around the trees on a little scooter bike track that's really focused on, on younger kids, but could be a way we could, add some harder elements for kids as they get older. Here's the bubble diagram of what that would be. Again, our library kiosk is in the same place, anchoring the project. The area here is that scooter track kind of taking up space where the existing trees are. Another programming gathering space kind of off of that, where you could do some of those outdoor programs. A play center here that was kind of themed around city life. Like you could go along the pathway, stop at different places along the city. Maybe there's another library there that kids could kind of interact with and pretend and play with. Over here, we have a construction site where they're playing with the sand and water, having something around garden play. You're really close to the community garden, which is here just to the east of the project. Having a music zone where kids can get really loud with some outdoor music play equipment. And then again, really making sure that the whole thing is kind of surrounded by these water-wise planting areas. So some imagery of what these places could look like. Here's that miniature track that I was talking about that would kind of be the bulk of the site beyond the kiosk. Here is some of the play elements, using things that kind of look more like city pieces, using vibrant colors. The musical equipment would be things that kids could go and kind of bang on, make lots of loud noise. And then here, again, here's another idea for something for that kiosk. Here's our existing conditions. And then maybe in this option, we're thinking something maybe a little bit more industrial. This would be an existing or using a container, but still keeping the library logo on there so that you still know what you're looking at. So here's the existing conditions, and here's that proposed design for where the sidewalk ends. The track here, the play structure, another play area that's kind of focused more on sand and music. And then just to kind of bring this one back, so those kiosk considerations, we know this will be the big kind of building within the project. We're not proposing any new restrooms. Everything else would be kind of mostly outdoor facilities, but this would be kind of the big structure that would be there. And here's two kind of considerations that we have for the kiosk. So that's my presentation on alternatives. And I want to open it up to you all to talk about those alternatives, but I also want to tell you kind of where we are in the process. So we're here on the left-hand side, thinking about these two design alternatives. We'll take these ideas from you, also from other members of the public that we're talking to develop a preferred concept, which we'll do in April. We'll take that to construction drawings in May to December, and then should go out to bid at the end of the year, beginning of 2024. So just to talk a little bit about our community outreach that we have done so far or are planning for the future. We've been doing direct stakeholder interviews with some residents from the area. We talked to the community services group to give us some direct contacts that we could reach out to. We also did a workshop with the youth leadership team at KidWorks to talk about these alternatives, where they gave us some very specific feedback about what they liked and disliked about the two alternatives. On Monday, we're going to talk to the Joint Neighborhood Association, which includes the neighborhoods around Jerome Park. And then we were going to go back to KidWorks, but talking to the parents again in April with the preferred concept to get some additional feedback from them. So some questions that I would like to hear from you all is, what did you like about the alternatives that I just talked about? What do you think could be removed? Is there anything missing from either option? Or is there anything else that we should consider, something that you might know about Jerome Park that we really need to be thinking about? And so with that, here's the kind of overview, and I'm going to stop talking, and I would welcome your comments if you have them.
Great, thank you so much. Commissioner Sen Matthews, would you like to provide some feedback?
Yes, thank you. Wow, Jesse, I love the idea of this outdoor library. I can just imagine my daughter's older now, but if she was younger, she would definitely love to be out there on those side tracks, getting books from there and all those reading nooks that you have designed there. Of the two, I really do like the Call of the Wild, the first alternative, and I like the vibrant color that was used to kind of signify that that's the library, or in addition, part of the library, or in terms of going with the park as well. So I really do like the Call of the Wild. As of right now, I don't have any other comments on that. I definitely would like to see. Well, actually, I do have a comment in the Jerome Park. If everybody can also let me know. How are we going to kind of protect the space in terms of, I mean, we do have a lot of houseless, homeless folks in and around Santa Ana. How do we protect that space? I know when we have sandbox and things like that, it can attract a lot of homeless folks to there. So I'm wondering, like, are we doing anything in that design to kind of protect that space since children will be using that?
So I'll respond to that one, and Brian, you can jump in as well. So we, when we've talked about these two options with city staff, we are getting similar comments. We've talked about a couple things. One is we could fence this area off and have it closed and locked. We'd like to talk about that option with the public and the commission and what you think of that. That's an added cost to the project. That means we couldn't do something else. But what we also just want to make sure that we're doing is that we're creating spaces that aren't necessarily that hospitable for camping and sleeping. So I should have mentioned this when I was talking about those reading nooks. One of the comments that we got was that we were showing some kind of long benches, kind of more relaxing spaces, but that maybe if we made them a little bit more staggered, a little bit less comfortable for kind of overnight, that might be a little bit better of an approach for this area. And so we tried to shift out some images, and I should have talked about that a little bit, but it's definitely something that we've talked about. We could go the route of fencing, and I'd love to hear you all's thoughts on that. But as of now, kind of we aren't proposing to put a fence in, and it kind of just trying to do it through design elements that are a little less desirable for overnight stay.
Yeah, I would hate to see fence going around there, but if we can have some other alternative to kind of make it desirable but undesirable for folks who may want to use that place or space to sleep in.
Yeah, thank you for your comment, Commissioner. When we first started talking about this project, that was one of my, primary concerns, and also, one of the elements that I felt really strongly that we have to address with this design to make sure that the equipment, that the space, always is welcoming, and of course, isn't vandalized or damaged in any way. So I think, echoing what Jesse has said, I think we can accomplish a lot of that through how we design the space. Making the space very attractive to come, to play, to read, but not a comfortable and attractive place to sleep, to camp, or to or to create spaces where that you're kind of hidden, that might lend to vandalism or other inappropriate uses of the park and the outdoor library. When we met with the youth at KidsWorks, they also had a comment about putting in some cameras in and around the space to give that sense of security, that we could monitor, our libraries, both of them, the main library and our New Hope branch location. We do have cameras in there, and those are cameras that we use and review when things happen and when incidents occur. And, it has been a successful deterrent, especially here at the main library. We had some camping, going on during overnight hours near our south entrance. We added several security cameras around that area, and just also, increased our presence during the day, and it has really made a difference at our main library. So I think if we incorporate those elements into this project, I think we can be pretty successful. We can look at surfaces that are, hopefully more graffiti resistant, and a myriad of different things to help out with that. So yeah, please know that is one of our major goals and concerns with this entire project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Commissioner Zacarias Torres, would you like to provide feedback?
Yes, I prefer the first option, but I used to work for Parks and Rec as a community garden program coordinator. So I've worked at Jerome Park before. I know that a lot of senior citizens like to hang out in those in the seating areas. So I just wanted to see if there was space to relocate that area, because I don't know if the senior citizens would want to sit in the areas where the children are around. They all like to congregate together and play games in those benches. Also, I noticed that the proposed area is also where there's a street vendor lady close to the sidewalk near the park. So I'm just concerned if she's going to be getting displaced, because I know that she's been there for a long time and a lot of kids regularly go to her. A lot of the garden participants or volunteers would go to her to grab a snack. There's also a paletero man that used to take his breaks where the benches are. Those were a couple of my concerns.
Can I just get one clarification about the street vendor? Is she using the parking lot or Center Street, or is it inside the park? Is she bringing?
She's on the grass area. She has an umbrella cart.
An umbrella cart. Okay. Kind of like in this area here. Kind of just adjacent to the parking lot.
No. She's more on the corner of where the Parkway Kiosk and Plaza and the Waterwise Gardening Water Gateway. In a couple of the pictures that you showed, you could see her on the left-hand corner, and you can see her umbrella cart.
Okay. That's helpful to know. Thank you.
And then also because the center's so close to the senior center, a lot of the seniors just go and congregate at the park on the benches.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Any other comments, Commissioner Zacarias Torres?
I also wanted to see if there was an option of maybe doing like an online survey for residents that are not able to attend the meetings or have not been able to be part of the past meetings, and they could also maybe put in any comments that they might have.
Thank you for that prompt. I was going to save this for the end, but I'll explain kind of what our ask of you all is. We do have an online survey now. It is a little bit, these concepts, the plans are a little hard to read. And so we didn't want to send it just generally. We really like to share it with people who we've talked to and kind of talk through the plans. I would ask if you share the survey, I'm happy for you to share it out to your group, maybe with an email that says, I saw a presentation on this, they're at this level, like they're thinking about these things, maybe with some, explanation of why you would like them to take the survey. Or say you'd be able to answer questions or share my email if people wanted to talk about it. We find that with the alternatives, it's kind of lots of concepts. So it's, if someone wants to kind of give more specific feedback, we'd love to take that. They're welcome to take the survey. It just might be, it's a long survey, so we didn't want to put it out as like a big ask for the general public. And we have been sharing this with the community groups that are kind of based in the area. So I'm very happy for you all to share this with your groups. And Maria, if you're able to put this into the chat, we do have it in Spanish, Vietnamese, and English. And so Maria will post that those links right now. Welcome you to post to share that if you'd like.
Quick question. I don't see a chat function on my end.
Oh.
So I'm thinking that I'll just email it to you guys since I have your agenda with your contact information, and I'll do that after this meeting.
And then as far as outreach, I know that right to the right on Townsend, there's a lot of apartments with a lot of youth. It's right over to the right. Behind there's Townsend Street, and there's a lot of apartments, and a lot of the youth from those apartments might not necessarily participate with KidWorks, but they do go to the park regularly after school. Is there a way to maybe get their input as well? I don't know, maybe canvassing and talking to the families, because a lot of the kids after school usually go to the park to hang out.
Yeah, we are talking to some of the schools in the area. We've mostly been talking to Washington and Lincoln because they're the elementary schools. We haven't talked to any, we talked to the older youth that were in the KidWorks program, but we haven't talked to any other high school age groups. And so that has been our general approach, is kind of going through the schools themselves rather than a direct canvas. But we could kind of look at that option and see like how much we could kind of dedicate to that. But thank you for that comment.
Commissioner Wu, I do see your hand up. Would you like to make some comments or recommendations? Commissioner Wu?
Hello, can you hear me? I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm having
Yes.
audio problems. Yeah, I do like both. I do like both of them, but I kind of prefer the wild, the first one. And I'm also was concerned about some of the security. So I like to see what the community would like, but I do like the Call of the Wild very much. So that's all I want to say.
Great, thank you so much. Commissioner Gomez, would you like to provide some feedback? I believe they may have stepped out. Commissioner Nelson, would you like to provide feedback?
Sorry, I came in a little late there due to some work obligations, but just looking at it, anything that we can do at Jerome would be fantastic. But looks like number one seems to get a lot of shine. I agree. It looks to be quite nice. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Commissioner Diaz, would you like to provide some feedback?
Yes, I also agree. Number one seems to be more, I don't know, eye-catching with the differences in, structures and those trees, being hollowed, and the kids could be a good hiding place. I like number one too, but also wanted to see if maybe we can do some type of, inviting the people whenever they have the events on Saturdays. So on Saturdays they use Jerome for different sports. And we can have someone, or even I can volunteer too, to ask them to fill out the survey. And yes, and I agree with Ms. Torres in regards to getting something for the seniors incorporated somewhere in there. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, commissioners. So I will provide my comments now in relationship to, this is great. I really loved our first option, the Call to the Wild. I think if for that library, I would like to incorporate, because it is right next to the community garden, if we could incorporate books that are in relationship to gardening. I think books that are in Spanish, I think are also important for the community that's nearby. I personally was thinking about comfortable seating, if especially that nook area, if I'm trying to read, I really want to maybe pull out a pillow, and, I don't know if we can have pillows out there, but I think being comfortable while reading, I think is important. So I would support that. I know that, maybe if there's room for community groups or additional tables where community groups can come and utilize the space, hey, let's have a meeting, at the park. And this would be a great little seating area for us to kind of convene. I think that would be great and welcoming. I do want to consider the elements, the sun, it does get sunny. So I think incorporating trees and shade would help with that. And in regards to the actual physical library, I love the color, maybe rainbow but just really the color, I think, makes it pop, makes it stand out, makes it say, hey, we're the library, come and check us out. I think that that's really great. In relationship to, I would prefer not to add cameras. I would really encourage maybe lighting, if there was maybe additional lighting in the area that I think, that I think would help to add to the safeness for folks to feel more safe. If maybe we have a space to invite maybe like social services or additional other services that maybe the houseless population may need services, right? So I think if we incorporate a space for them to, hey, maybe we can refer them to places. And so I think if maybe we can think through, a space where folks, maybe it's in the parking lot, where kind of community, community services on wheels comes by and provides those services, or maybe we can include additional resources that we can hand to residents out as a part of the library. Okay, I think that unless we can go maybe one more time around for the commissioners, any additional comments? If not, then I think we could maybe move on to our next item.
I did just want to respond really quickly to that one. I should have mentioned that this project will include lighting. It's not shown here, but we are proposing some additional lighting, kind of using the same light that's there, but kind of using that to light up the new spaces as well.
Yeah, and I just want to add real quick that, seating is, like I said in the beginning, it's a library. So the idea is to provide lots of places to sit and, whether it's for seniors, it's for a parent and child, whoever it might be, for people of all ages to sit together and enjoy the space. One thing that we're trying to get out of this particular design, and just public libraries in general, is that sense of multi-generational, or connection. So anything that we can do to also help people connect with their community, it'd be great if teens connect with senior citizens, and the community gets to know each other and have it kind of be that community hub. That's kind of what public libraries, tend to encourage from their communities. So we'll see how we can build those kind of multi-generational spaces, but still to the point of, having, some seating away from, what might be the play areas. So there is some quiet, areas to read or just to relax, outside of, the kids and what might be more active play areas. So I just want to make that point as well, that we're going to try to do both in this particular project. So those are my comments.
Great, thank you so much, Director Sternberg. Commissioner Wu, did you still have your hand up? Okay. Jesse, I know you're here presenting the slides, so I think if you want to, for folks want to maybe complete the survey, or.
Yeah, I just want to leave it here to say I thank you so much for having us tonight. Feel free to reach out to me via email if you have any questions or like a thought tonight that you're like, oh, I really thought about that. So email me, share the survey. Maria will follow up with the links directly so you can share that with your community. And so just thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having the opportunity for as commissioners to be able to provide direction on some of these things. I know that, it doesn't happen as often, but I would thank you for you all for presenting this and gathering our feedback. I know it's important. Maybe additional projects down the line can be brought before the commission, so we're able to provide that feedback. I think it's very helpful. Next on the agenda, I will now turn this over to our planner, Parks Planner Susie Fergenak, for an update on the Parks Master Plan. I've been working with Susie to educate the public a little bit more about the Parks Master Plan and specific key terms as it relates to park access, park equity, and our levels of service. So Susie, if you would like to move forward with the presentation, that would be great. Susie?
Sorry about that. I think I need share screen capabilities.
Let's see. Our recording secretary can help us.
Hi, Susie, you currently do have those capabilities.
I do. Okay. Thank you. Is everyone able to see my screen? Yay, okay. So as Chairman Herrera said, I am going to offer a little quick tutorial, 5-10 minutes, just to introduce you to a few of the terms that are incorporated in the master plan. They're kind of buzzwords in the park planning world. Just want to have a little explanation about what they are and what they mean. There are 3 in particular that I'm gonna talk about a bit. One is park equity, one is park access, and one is level of service. And what these concepts do is they help us to determine where our needs are and where we need to focus. Park equity is a term that's used where we want everyone's needs to be met. Equality and equity aren't necessarily the same. Equality refers to maybe having the same type of investment. Equity deals more with having an appropriate investment. I'm going to switch real quick to a little graphic that kind of communicates that idea. Top slide, equality. You know, we're giving everybody a bike, and that's great. However, the same bike doesn't work for everyone. Equity would mean an appropriate type of bike depending on that individual. And you can kind of see examples in that lower piece. So what this strives to do is to serve everyone, but also help with inclusion. It helps to foster an environment where everyone feels welcome and safe and respected. So we want to have, you know, the Parks Master Plan calls for a diversity of opportunities. You know, we want to look closer at making sure that we have a wide range of opportunities across the city. But in addition to that, park equity digs a little bit deeper. We're going to look closer at areas that are mapped out to be disadvantaged. They need special consideration. Examples of those types of areas would be environmental, or the areas that are referred to as environmental justice areas, areas that have socioeconomic challenges, and areas with high density. Another term that's used a lot is park access, and what this refers to is providing just and fair access to parks. It's based on a measurement, a proximity measurement. The National Recreation and Parks Association, the Trust for Public Land, set a goal for cities to provide parks within a half mile or a 10-minute walk. Our goals that are in the Parks Master Plan, our goals over the next 10 years is to meet the National Recreation and Parks goals, the Trust for Public Lands goals, but we go a little bit farther. We want to provide, we're striving to provide city and community parks within a 1/2 mile radius or a 10-minute walk. We want to provide neighborhood and pocket parks within a 1/4 mile, which is about a 5-minute walk. The mechanisms that are going to enable us to do this would be to create new parks, expand our existing parks, reinforce and add to our joint use sites, provide greater connectivity via our recreational trails, and bringing pop-up events into the community. The last term I want to go over tonight is one that's called level of service. And this is the amount of parkland needed to serve the community at a desired and measurable standard. It's based on ratio, number of acres per 1,000 residents. Wanted to mention the Quimby Act. You might have heard the term. It is an act that was approved way back in 1975. It gave cities the authority to pass land dedication or in lieu fees in order to achieve a goal of 3 acres per 1,000 residents. And that is what our goal is as of now. Last year in 2022, when the city's general plan was updated and adopted, and the Parks Master Plan was approved and adopted, it set that standard. Prior to that time, our standard was 2 acres per 1,000. Now it's a tall order, but it's a great goal. We are currently at 1.1 acres. And I just want to show you how we compare a little to our neighboring cities. Anaheim currently has 2 acres per 1,000. Fullerton provides 5 acres per 1,000. Garden Grove, 0.7 acres per 1,000. City of Orange, almost 2 acres per 1,000. Tustin, 2.25 acres per 1,000. And Irvine, 43 acres per 1,000. So we, aren't the low ball, or we aren't we aren't at the bottom of the list, but we've got some ground to make up. And that's it. It's just a short little presentation. Probably going to be doing similar presentations like this at the next couple of subsequent commission meetings. And with that, I will turn it back to Chairman Herrera.
Thank you so much, Susie, for this presentation. I know we were working towards this presentation, and it's great information. For those that haven't read our Parks Master Plan, this is a great introduction to it. So, we're a little behind. And our residents really deserve every and all green space that we have. And so, this plan to get us to 3 acres per 1,000 residents is within the next decade. So, I think, we got some time, and so I think with, let's continue to fund Parks and Recs, right? Because I think the money that we secure for Parks and Recs goes directly into meeting our goals. And so, I just wanted to share that. And, it's like, yes, we're working towards a goal. So are there additional comments from the commission? Okay, we'll move on. Thank you, Susie.
My pleasure.
Next on the agenda is informational items. No action is needed from the commission on these items. However, this is the time for city staff to provide a brief summary of their reports for the commission and for the commissioners to ask any questions. I would first like to call upon Director Sternberg, if you would please like to give the library staff report. Oh, you might be on mute.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. I just have a real brief report tonight, just to run through some of the events and activities that will be happening at the Santa Ana Public Library. The first thing I want to let everyone know about is our annual Dia de los Niños, Dia de los Libros, Children's Day Book Day, our 2023 celebration. This will be Saturday, April 29th from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'll be at the main library. This is one of our big signature events here at the library, and it really stresses the importance of children, literacy, and families. This is what we're all about here at the library. Free festivities will include a book giveaway for children, train rides, make and take activity stations, an inflatable maze, bubble fest, and a special meet and greet opportunity with renowned original author of the Pete the Cat series. I don't know if any of you have kids or, or nephews or nieces or anybody that might read the Pete the Cat series by Eric Litwin, but we're going to have him here at the Santa Ana Public Library doing a special performance and reading for the entire community. So we're really excited about having that author here. We're also going to have performances by a magician named Artie Loon and a Polynesian dance performance as well. There will be food trucks and all kinds of exhibitors from the city and the community out as well. So we really look forward to that event. Come and join us for a full day of festivities. The next thing I want to plug is our new Teen Time program from the Santa Ana Public Library. This is a partnership with the Parks and Rec department, and our library staff is planning a special Teen Time grand opening event on March 25th, 2023 at the El Salvador Community Center. Tea Time has already opened at the Garfield Community Center on January 23rd of this year, and our El Salvador location will officially open on March 27th after our special grand opening event. We did a big renovation of a room and remodeled it at the El Salvador Community Center, so we're really excited for that space, and so we're going to host our grand opening at the El Salvador location. And like I said, that'll be March 25th, 2023. So please feel free to come out and join us there for that great event. But in this space, teens will have access to study stations, charging points, Chromebooks, iPads, games, supplies to get creative and do art projects, and a whole lot more. Weekly programs will engage teens and expose them to STEM concepts. And then monthly workshops will tackle important personal topics such as finance, wellness, self-care, time management, as well as broader social concepts such as food security, local history, and cultural competency. And most importantly, teens will be able to give their feedback and help shape the programs and activities by participating in a weekly Teen Leadership Committee meeting that we will also have at both the El Salvador Community Center location and the Garfield location. And then last, there's a whole bunch of programs. We had several programs here at the library for Black History Month. One was an author hour series with a popular writer named Jane Allen. And then we have some movie screenings as well that the community was able to enjoy. So with that, always feel free to go on our website for the library, and you will be able to see all of the programs happening each month. I update that with each of the reports, and it's all there. So if you have any questions, I'm available to answer those now.
Do we have any questions or comments for Director Sternberg? Okay, I went to our Library of Things. I was able to check out back here. I have a record vinyl player. I don't have any vinyls, but I have the record player. I checked it out specifically for our residents to see it. And I mean, I don't want to carry it and drop it. So, but there it is. We have so many great things of our Library of Things. Check out our New Hope Library. Check out the main branch library. You can make cookies, like the little stamps, or what are they called? Cookie cutters. There's a camera holder. There's so many things. There's board games that you can check out. Also at our library, don't forget, I checked out for the second time in a row our California State Library Park Pass. You can visit our state beaches for free. You put this on your car up here, and you don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to pay for parking, completely free. And if you check this out, you'll also get a flyer that says that you can enter for a chance to win a state park for free. It's $195 value. That one you'll get for free. I guess it's a lottery system, but we got additional 150 park passes. There's so many. Go check them out. You can check it out for 3 weeks, and then you have to return it, and then you can check it out again. But I just wanted to share that, go enjoy nature for free.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. As always, it is such a pleasure. And your comment about the vinyl, maybe that's something that I will look into and checking some of that stuff out too. So you just provided me with a great idea. Thank you.
Commissioner San Matthews?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add, there are so many great things happening at the library. I'm wondering if there's any flyers or anything that kind of we can get to the residents who are not going to the library yet to see all of these, things that they can check out from the library. Are there anything of that nature so that community members who haven't been to the library, either the New Hope one or the main branch one or a mobile library, is there anything that we can have so that they know, hey, there's more than just checking out books at the library. You can have, like Commissioner Herrera was talking about, state parks, the vinyl, the cookie cut. I mean, there's so many things, and I would love to make sure that everybody is aware that these services or these types of things are available at our Santa Ana Library as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question, Commissioner. First, of course, we have all of our, social media online. That's where, the vast majority of this stuff lives. And then, we do create, we try to save paper, and we do create some, physical paper handouts, flyers for things. We were starting to create, little cards that had QR codes that people could scan with their phones. So, they're small and hand them out. That would bring people to our website and to the library's calendar of events. And also, when we do go out to, whether it's neighborhood association meetings, ComLink meetings, just community, events that we participate in as a part of our outreach through our bookmobile, we do provide, those cards and handouts there as well. But if you have any specific, places that you think we should, go and drop off a stack of physical, materials, I'm definitely open to that, and we can certainly make that happen. And of course, we also do share with our partner, Santa Ana Unified School District. We do send out promotions through their Peach Jar program, which provides information and updates that gets out to all the kids through the schools as well.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Diaz?
Yes. Have you guys thought about creating like a bookmark with information in it? And then bookmark, and also like a QR code, like with a sticker on it. So there's a lot of different mini libraries located throughout the neighborhoods. So having some bookmarks and delivering them at the different, little libraries, because there's actually a Facebook page that has the, a girl that she's doing it voluntarily. She collects all the books and then she drives around through the neighborhoods and puts books in them. If we can have some bookmarks from the, from the city, we can, probably drive around and put them in the little libraries and the mini libraries, and also the QR code that we can put a sticker on the mini libraries.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great. Feel free to pass me along the person's information, and we can definitely arrange for that, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Any additional questions or comments for Director Sternberg? Okay, I'll move forward with our Zoom manager, Ethan Fisher. Would you like to give your update?
Yes, good evening, everyone, again. I'll quickly give some updates on what's happening at the zoo right now. In the realm of animal moves, we took a trip to the LA Zoo last week to deliver a young ring-tailed lemur to them. Her name was Rose, and it was on Valentine's Day, so we delivered them a rose. But she had an interesting story. She was actually confiscated by wildlife officials. She was not housed in a great situation, and we were able to provide veterinary care for her and rehab her, and now she's going to go have a great home at the LA Zoo for the rest of her life. So we're happy to play a part in that. sometimes we do play a part in accepting animals that are confiscated or different situations that are going on. With education, we are definitely in our active education season with all the school visitors, all the school field trips coming to the zoo for programs and self-guided visits around the zoo. As always, there's volunteer opportunities at the zoo and youth employment opportunities. So I have some notes about that in the operations report. One smaller event that's coming up in next month is the 71st birthday for the zoo. Reading the report, I realized I didn't actually put the date. The date is on Sunday, March 19th, which coincides with the Santa Ana Resident Day at the zoo. So the third Sunday of the month is the day that residents can come into the zoo for free. And that's when we've been trying to shift all of our different events to coincide with the Residents Day to provide more access to those events. And I'll give a quick shout out to Commissioner Herrera for that article that was in the Voice of OC. They quoted both of us and it highlighted the Free Residents Day. One other note, the new Cultura magazine came out. If you haven't seen that, it's online. There's paper copies. It's a great magazine about what's going on with recreation, the zoo, and the library. Operationally, lots of construction continuing on with the giant river otter habitat and primate trails. You can very clearly see all the activity as you come in the zoo, the water tanks, all the equipment moving around and the concrete work they're doing. So that's a very exciting project. Another very visual project that is starting to take shape is the Caltrans Clean California improvements. That's a partnership between the state of California with Caltrans, Public Works, and then Parks and Recreation. We work together, and if you're driving the I-5 corridor going north, where right before you would exit 1st Street or 4th Street, there's a big mural that's on the connector ramp that's been painted. You'll start to see it's actually the city logo deconstructed. There's a big sun, and then underneath it, it's going to say Santa Ana. And adjacent to that, there'll be a marker for the zoo with a monkey and the zoo sign. And then as you exit 4th Street, coming around where there used to be a sort of dilapidated parking lot that Caltrans used for people that are working with them to collect the trash and beautify the community. That lot is being improved with landscaping and new fencing. And since it's right across the street from the zoo, it's actually going to have these really neat metal animal cutouts of different zoo animals along the fence. So that is starting to take shape. If you're in the area and you're wondering what's going on, that's that project. And two other events that I'll point out. There's a number of different things coming up, but two big ones for the future. Zufari, that's the big fundraising gala that's put on by Friends of Santa Ana Zoo, our nonprofit partner. That is scheduled for Saturday, August 19th, and is titled Through the Looking Glass. And then a new event that we have that we're doing in July is Brew at the Zoo. We have had some beer tastings in the past, but this is a brand new event that's been very popular at a lot of other zoos in the US. And that's scheduled for Friday, July 28th. You would come, you get a souvenir glass. There'd be about 15 different local craft breweries throughout the zoo, and you could try them all. And also have some entertainment, a time to mingle with your friends and other people in the community, and just have a nice evening out. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions or comments for our zoo manager, Fisher?
Great, thank you.
I did want to, I created graphics for our resident days, and Voice of OC saw it, I guess, and they reached out to me, and I let them know to reach out to you. And
Yeah,
so,
that was a great highlight.
I know folks were, I encouraged folks to go, and then folks got back to me, and thank you for sharing this resource. I know some folks mentioned maybe having cleaner restrooms, and I was like, okay, I'll relay that to our Zoom manager. So I just wanted to relay about.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I would say President's Day weekend was very busy. That Sunday of President's Day, we had 3,088 people visit the zoo. And then Monday, on President's Day, there was over 2,000 people at the zoo, and I think Saturday was about the same. So quite a busy weekend. I think almost 7,000 people came over that 3-day weekend. So that's, and then on that, one of those days was the Residents' Day, and I think there was about 1,600 of the 3,000 were residents.
Thank you so much. I just let our residents know it's like, hey, it's a free resident day, and go and enjoy our resources. So I just wanted to share.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more further comments or questions, I will go ahead and move on. Give me 1 second. Okay, so now we have Tim, if you'd like to give our community services manager an update for Parks and Recs.
Thank you, Commissioner Herrera. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. Just want to give a few updates. I'm going to go quickly. With recreation, we have quite a few things going on as we're preparing for our summer season, but I believe Ethan already mentioned the Cultura. That is spearheaded out of our community engagement team here in recreation. We do work with the zoo and the library, but I wanted to share my screen if I could. Let's see here. Here we go. We'll see if can everybody see my screen. So Cultura, our second edition, we are very happy with the end result. Again, it's a collaborative effort between all of our quality of life services, zoo, recreation, and library services. We're very happy with the end results. Again, it's not your typical recreation guide and where we're just throwing all of our classes at you. We want to inspire the community through what Santa Ana represents and what it means to be a Santa Ana resident, and all the great services through the library, through the zoo that we offer. And one of the great things about it is, with this being our second edition, we certainly have a lot of areas of opportunity in how we continue to deliver this with a fun aesthetic, exciting events, being informative, doing human highlight and interest pieces, articles, and everything like that. Our aquatics update, our new very visual map of all the amenities that we have within Santa Ana. So one of the things that we're excited about that we didn't do the first time is now the entire Cultura has been translated into Spanish. So this is a very exciting time for us because we heard what the community, feedback was after the first Cultura. There was a lot of anecdotal, but really, sentient feedback as far as some of our Spanish-speaking residents going into the community centers, picking up the Cultura, seeing that it was English only, and then putting it back down, which for us was a missed opportunity. But again, it was a pilot, project, and we've adjusted, and our community engagement team has done a really great job of bringing that Spanish translation in, which is online right now. And the reason we put it online so that we can see how many clicks of, and we can track how many clicks of people going in and basically absorbing the Spanish translated content and everything. And that will inform us on what efforts we need to make subsequently moving forward and everything like that. Another exciting thing is that because previously what we did with our recreation guide is we, and I'll stop sharing my screen. We usually blanketed the city with, and mailing and everything like that. But we won't even talk about the carbon footprint that we would do 4 times a year doing that. So we're trying to be environmentally conscious as far as how we deliver this information to our residents. So for the first time, we asked residents to inform us if they wanted to receive a hard copy of the Cultura. We certainly have it at all of our community centers here at City Hall, at all of our agencies. But very exciting is that we started around 25 with our QR code. And by the time we went to mailing, we were over 550 subscribers to the Cultura. So we're hoping that picks up. We're very excited that a lot of people are embracing this project, and we're going to keep continuing to update you as we move forward with the evolution of what the Cultura represents from our community engagement team. A couple other announcements, upcoming events. We have our egg hunt that will be taking place at Centennial Park on April 8th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is for all the younger ages, basically very, very young to about 11 years old. But another thing that we're excited is we're going to have an inclusionary element where we're going to invite those with special needs to participate in a very, inclusionary sensitive atmosphere. So we're forming that up, and that information will be going out to the public very soon. Our 5K and now 10K will be April 22nd. In addition to that, we're making it a 2-day event. So on April 21st, which is Friday, we're going to have our Kids Dash, which is graciously sponsored by Northgate. We're going to invite about 400 youngsters in various age groups to come and participate in various lengths of runs so that they can participate in the 5K as well in their own special way. We'll make it very exciting for them. There will also be an opportunity for early bib pickup for all of our 5K runners and 10K runners. We are incorporating a 10K this year. We haven't done that in the past, but we wanted to, again, add value to our Santa Ana residents' experience and even make it a more regional draw. So the 5K will be free as it has been in the past, but the 10K will come at a little bit of a serious premium because we want to make sure that you're committed and willing to go the route 2 times. So that information, I think, is scheduled to go out Monday. So be on the lookout for that. And in addition to the 5K and 10K, directly after the race, we're going to have our Fit Fest, which will feature a lot of the gyms in the local area. They'll be doing demonstrations of what they do at their regular gyms. We'll have a community stage with performances, healthy food trucks. We're going to have a beer garden, so post-race type of thing. Cal Optima has agreed to be a sponsor, as well as Planet Fitness. So we're starting to get that exposure to where we're able to draw in corporate sponsors so that we can continue to add value to all of our special events. I know our special events team and our community engagement team has really been focusing on that, especially over this year. And we have a lot of exciting things in the hopper that once they come to fruition, we're going to be very happy to share with the commission. Athletics, our girls basketball registration is now open. So if you know any young ladies that want to participate in our girls basketball program, this is a very popular program and usually goes to capacity every single year. So I think the registration just opened earlier this week. So if you know anybody, please encourage them to contact our youth sports section so that they can give them the information about where to register and how to get there. And we're very excited for the first time that we are recruiting for our first ever adult kickball league. You may have seen that via our social media. It's been very popular on our social media, and we are starting to accept teams and individuals. If you don't have a full team, if you can't gather your coworkers or just family and friends, you can sign up as an individual. We will place you on a team if you are interested in that. Our health and wellness section, we have our wilderness club. Next outing will be March 4th, and we're going to the Bolsa Chica Conservancy. And we also have a compost workshop on March 13th at Madison Park. So both those events are coming up shortly. In addition, just to highlight, the health and wellness section oversees Roosevelt Walker, and we are continuing to strengthen our partnership with the PAL program out of SAPD. I'm happy to report that we have a full program over there of 30 students. That, it's been a slow build as, SAPD is starting to recruit and everything, but we're very happy to be working alongside of the PAL program out at Roosevelt Walker for that program, and also for the substation that has been placed in Roosevelt Walker to ensure that there's safe access for all of our residents in that area in Pacific Park and in the general area over there for after hours during our operational hours from 3 to 9. In addition, we have entered into an agreement with the Gasol Foundation, Pau Gasol. It's his foundation, and they are actually conducting 3 sports that will be free of charge for anybody that would like to attend. They're doing basketball, soccer, and track and field over at Roosevelt Walker on Wednesday afternoon. Right now, we are at capacity because, like I said, we already have a built-in audience, but we're taking a waiting list to see how we can add more youngsters to that program. But that program just debuted, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we're already at capacity. So a lot of good things happening over in that particular area. Our aquatics program, we have a lifeguard boot camp that was supposed to happen today, but because of the weather, unfortunately, we had to cancel it. So our next one is March 16th. Basically, the boot camp is an opportunity for those that may be on the fence on, should I be a lifeguard? Could I be a lifeguard? For them to come out and work with our aquatics personnel to determine if they have what it takes at a bare minimum level, so that then we can work with them to build them up to get them LG certified, and also potentially WSI, which is water safety instructor, to teach swim lessons for this upcoming summer. Another exciting thing that took place out of our aquatic section, we entered into an agreement with the American Red Cross to be a licensed training provider. So we are an official Red Cross licensed training provider, and we also got a commitment for the Red Cross that they will be supplying us with $14,000 per year over the next 3 years, so that we can provide 350 subsidized Learn to Swim scholarships to our residents, essentially taking our swim lessons from $55 for residents down to $15 per session, which is essentially 8 hours of swim instruction for our residents. One moment. Moving on to our senior services. Our senior program is absolutely busting at the seams. Our group over there is doing fantastic out Southwest and at Santa Ana Senior Center. Both centers just featured their February Valentine's Day celebration, which was also featured on our social media. Great pictures, getting a lot of great feedback from at least us putting out via social media is the most commented on, liked program that we put out every single time that we post something. And people are really appreciative of what we're doing with our senior programs. We're starting to get back into our senior excursions. Right now, they're all local, but we are queuing up to start doing long range excursions that are outside of Orange County. And I know our team is working very hard to get that information so that once we're ready to go, we'll start promoting those trips for everybody. Our community education and outreach section, I think Director Sternberg mentioned it, that we are having Spring Fest on March 25th at El Salvador Park from 10 to 1 p.m. And the reason why this was generated as an opportunity was about a year ago, Bill Sandoval, who's one of our supervisors here in Recreation, he wanted to start a collaborative of community-based organizations that would meet regularly and talk to each other, talk about the challenges that they have, and also talk about the resources that are available to not only themselves, but maybe other like-minded CBOs. And that is Recording Secretary Sandoval, just so that everybody is aware. And his group has built the collaborative from 3 CBOs to now over 20. So at that point, now that we have a very vibrant group, they decided that they wanted to put their resources out there leading into summertime so that parents and families can make intentional decisions about how they work with those CBOs and maybe leverage some of those resources that they offer as they go into the summertime experience and everything. In addition, out of our community education and outreach section, our recreation classes are starting to pick up again. It was real tough to kind of restart that, coming out of the pandemic, but we have found our footing and we are starting to increase classes at all of our community center sites. And we're really excited to be working with our contract instructors. That's all I have for right now. If there's any questions that I may be able to answer, I would be happy to do so. Thank you.
Commissioner Zacarias Torres, would you like to go first?
Is there an opportunity for scholarships for girls basketball?
That's a great question. I think that, we always take that into consideration. I would direct you to our youth sports section, America Robledo. She's our supervisor over there. There's always opportunities. We work with a lot of organizations that, for example, we are working with the University of Irvine right now, their women's basketball team, and they have wanted to collaborate with us. And I think during the girls basketball season, we'll actually have an opportunity to go over there and view one of the women's basketball games, as a group and everything like that. So I know at one point we were talking about scholarship opportunities. I would put you in touch with them. So I'll follow up with you and provide America's email information, contact information, so that you can maybe find out a little bit more about that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Commissioner Diaz, would you like to provide comments or questions?
First, I want to thank you for everything you guys are doing. It's wonderful. And it's like, I'm so happy to see all the wonderful programs that are sitting in the different community centers and the parks.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you for the 5K run or the 10K run. Are you guys considering selling the t-shirts to be able to gather some funding, or would the t-shirts be free?
So for the 5K, because it is a free event for all families and residents and non-residents to participate in, we're going to be giving everybody a medal that participates in the 5K. For everybody that participates in the 10K, because there is a price associated with it, they'll be getting a medal and probably a t-shirt, but t-shirts will be for sale for all of those folks that want to purchase a t-shirt to commemorate the day in addition to the medal. So we are planning on selling t-shirts for the 5K, 10K this year.
Okay. And just FYI, the material that you guys used last time, that was a really good material.
Okay. I will keep that in mind. Thank you for that feedback.
Commissioner San Matthews?
Yes, hi, thank you. Manager Timothy, those are all great events that's happening here in the city. Thank you for providing those updates. A quick question in regards to the senior center. I'm part of the Orange County Senior Citizen Advisory Council for the county, and I want to make sure that our senior centers here in Santa Ana received the answers catalog that was out this year for 2022. Okay. Did our senior centers receive any catalogs? And if not,
I can certainly ask. I'm sure we do, because I know that we are, our group and our supervisor Juan Lara is very plugged into all the different senior organizations around the county. But I will check, and again, I will get back to you to ensure that we have. And if we haven't, we'd love to get some and have them over at our senior centers. That
would be great. There's so many resources for our seniors here in this catalog. So if you are needing to connect with the folks who are, this is Council on Old Aging. They're the one who produced that. If you need me to help connect you guys there, or to get, I can actually pick it up and drop it off at the center as well, if that's something that you'll be open to as well. I just want to make sure it gets into our residents' hands.
Yeah, that would be great. And I know that we're very active with the Council of Aging. I know that Juan and I have talked about that. So I'm going to assume that we have them. But like I said, if we ended up not being part of the circulation, I'll reach out and we can either I can pick them up, or if you're willing to hand them off, that would be wonderful and welcomed as well.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions for Manager Pagano? Okay, I will go next. I have a question in relationship to can folks, I guess I think I saw it somewhere in terms of y'all were publicizing like this is the last date to subscribe to receive a copy of the Cultura magazine. Is it still possible for folks to subscribe to get a
Yeah, I think that was to create a false sense of urgency so that we can make sure that we're doing one mass mailing. But yeah, I will work with our community engagement team just so that we can capture people as we're heading into our summer season. Our projected deliver, or at least our summer edition is projected to come out first week of May. So probably leading into that, we should probably do another call for those that want to get a hard copy. So I'll work with Corey and her team to make sure that we continue to have the opportunity to, subscribe and everything like that.
Great. I love the sense of urgency, and then also be like, just kidding, you can still continue. Sure. Or providing other areas like, hey, you can go pick, I know you mentioned earlier, you could have copies at the library, have copies at our city hall, community centers. I think it's like, I love this. The back picture is so amazing.
Yeah.
Like I love the pictures. And for folks that I know, we have photographers out in the community and you take beautiful pictures of our city, you can submit your pictures to have it be displayed in our Cultura magazine. So I love it. I love it. I know you mentioned it being in Spanish. I hope we can work towards, I know we have the Vietnamese community liaison. Maybe we can help to work to make it in Vietnamese accessible as well. I think I would support that. I also you kind of touched on the date for the next publication. You said the first week of May. I was in a meeting with our planning department and the OC Healthcare Agency in relationship to lead. And the county got a grant, $1.4 million for lead remediation. And I said, like, hey, we have a Cultura magazine, and healthcare agency was like, hey, we want to help incorporate material in the Cultura magazine. And I was like, perfect, so I think if we reach out to Margarita Macedonio, I think, she's from the Neighborhood Initiative and Environmental Services. So I think I was like, I can mention it, so then that way we're able to work collaboratively to be able to share information out to the public.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we have been starting to develop a really good relationship with the Orange County Healthcare Agency on a lot of different levels, from park-based to health and wellness initiatives and all that type of stuff. And we've also been in discussion now that the Cultura has been 2 editions. We're starting to get a lot of attention, which is what we wanted to do. So there's partner agencies within the city of Santa Ana and even outside of the city of Santa Ana that haven't been inquiring, like, how do we get in? How do we be a part of? So we're really happy with that, because that was the goal, to draw the community closer and to be able to deliver those resources in a comprehensive way. We're just trying to figure out how we do that, where the focus is still on the quality of life services that the Parks and Recreation Library, department provide, and so that's kind of the tightrope that we're walking, but we're creative and innovative. I'm sure we'll find a way.
Great, thank you. The next was in relationship to movies in the parks. I think that this was another area where Margarita and I were we're thinking through, like, hey, I think they're interested in having a booth. I love movies in the parks, and there's so many resources out there. If it's maybe planning that's specifically focusing on outreach for lead remediation, and so it's like, hey, we have money here to remediate lead. Let's, we have at a minimum 50 families can be supported by this grant. So I think if we're able to incorporate them, I know it's they might reach out to you to see how they can get a booth.
Yeah, I have a meeting on the books with them, so I'm sure it will be mentioned.
Great.
Yeah.
I saw that you have a gallery opening night at Salgado Center. You didn't mention a time on the notes. Is there a time for that one?
Is that the Spring Fest?
It was on Friday the 24th, tomorrow at Salgado Center.
Oh, so for our art component. Yeah, so our teen program is conducting an art academy for our teens and everything like that. So you were asking the time, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
The time.
Let me, you know what? I need to check on that. Let me get back to you. In fact, maybe if I can ask and lean on Recording Secretary Sandoval. He's the supervisor in charge of our teen program over at Salgado right now. Bill, do you have a time for our Teen Academy gallery opening?
Thank you, Manager Pagano. Thank you, Chairperson Herrera. I believe it is around 4 o'clock, but I will go ahead and send everyone an email to just double check and make sure that you guys have the right time.
Great, thank you. It's right next door, so I want to go in and be out there for our Salgado Center for the West Side. I was also looking at the registration page for our adult kickball. I'm so interested, I'm going to be out there. And Bolsa Chica, I was thinking like, it was like it's for folks that may not be so tech savvy, is it if showing up is like appropriate enough, it'd be like, hey, you didn't register, you can't show up, So I think maybe clarifying that, it'd be like, I know we want to register folks, but to this, I want to also feel like, dang, I wasn't able to register, but I want to show up,
I think it's definitely for the Wilderness Club, for like, the Bolsa Chica. if you show up on the day of, I think as long as it's not full and we're not suffering from a lack of transportation, I think walk-ups would be welcomed. We'd probably have them sign a waiver and, just make sure that we're covering ourselves. The adult kickball is a little bit different because it is a league. It's not just like a night where you can come and play one game and everything. We're really trying to encourage league play. So teams versus teams, multiple weeks leading into playoffs, leading to a champion, that type of stuff. So, I think that would be just a little bit of a difference between those two activities.
Okay, so the public register, please try to navigate the website. If not, it may not be guaranteed, but please try to register before. You mentioned senior excursion program. I love that. I love that idea. I know we have our teen excursion program. If if it means requesting additional funding for this program, please do so, because I think we're going to be seniors one day, and hey, I still want to go out there and have fun,
Sure.
So I encourage you. I love the idea, so please continue. If it means additional funds, please request them.
I appreciate that, and we may get to that at one point, but right now we are part of a senior mobility program. So what is preventing us from doing the long range excursions at this point is we need to hire a recreation coordinator to oversee and plan those things, which is part of our mid-year ask that is going to go before council now at the end of March. In addition, we need to build in some full-time drivers. And that will be a request that is being made during budget development. And we will be very prepared to hire those folks on July 1st once that budget gets approved. Because the great thing about it is there's no general funds that are going to be needed, at least for a 4-year period of time, because of the senior mobility program funds that we accumulated during COVID when we weren't delivering programs, when we didn't have the opportunity to. So we took that surplus that we had, converted them into some personnel needs that we know it would really benefit the seniors and really benefit that program. So we're really excited about that. I know our senior services section is chomping at the bit to get that going because it's a well-loved program. And unfortunately, we won't be able to go to casinos because that's a risk management thing, but we'll try to figure out other opportunities that will entice the seniors to join us.
Please, Manager Pagano, request more funds. I think as a commission, we would approve something like that.
Awesome.
I saw first Commissioner Zacarias Torres first, and then we'll go to Commissioner San Matthews.
And Chairperson Herrera, let me just jump in here real quick. I do have clarification on the gallery. The gallery opening is actually going to be March 1st from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Salgado. And they will be holding a workshop tomorrow from 4 to 5:30 p.m.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Reporting Secretary.
You are very welcome, sir.
Commissioner Maria Zacarias Torres.
Yes, I just wanted to second on the senior excursions. I remember when I was, my office for the community garden program was at Southwest Senior Center. They always mentioned how much they love the Solvang trip. So
Awesome.
I remember it was, they used to do the senior excursions before COVID, and the Solvang trip was the one that was really favored.
Awesome. I'll make sure to pass that along to our senior services group. Thank you for that.
Commissioner San Matthews.
Yes, quick question in regards to the senior excursion program. I work at a local nonprofit here in Santa Ana. The majority of our participants are seniors. So in order to get those services, do they have to go to the senior center and enroll in those senior in the senior center to be able to?
I understand what you're saying. We don't operate on a membership program, so it's not as though you have to be a regular attendee of the senior center, either Santa Ana or Southwest. Again, we're only looking that, you would be considered young and vibrant at 55 and above. And, if you're willing to travel with us, then, as long as you're able to register and give us all of your information, you will be able to have a spot.
Oh, that's great to know. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, if we don't have any additional questions, I think we'll go back to our planner, Susie Fergenak. Would you like to give the update for our parks and facilities?
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to start off with the best news. We just found out recently that we were successful in getting a $400,000 grant from the State Coastal Conservancy for design for Santiago Park Phase 3, which is the habitat restoration project that's going to occur on the east end of the site. It's about a 3-acre segment of Santiago Park, south side of the creek. At the end, it's kind of down by where the Lincoln Avenue pedestrian way comes in. So we are going to start design, and the scope of work is going to include a new decomposed granite walkway, site lighting. We're going to revive all the landscaping, replant some trees that we lost, fill in the riparian landscape, install an automated irrigation system with emitters to ensure that if we experience another drought, that we have a backup plan to make sure everything stays healthy and alive and has a chance to get established. There will be some site amenities, some benches and interpretive signage, and it will include a pedestrian bridge that will connect the north and south sides of Santiago Park. It will start about where the Lincoln Avenue pedestrian way comes into the park, go across the creek and take you over to the nature center where Ethan and the zoo are going to be doing wonderful things. We also recently submitted a CDBG grant application to do a redesign and a site-specific parks master plan for Chepas Park on the east side of town. We should find out within the next couple of months if we are successful there. We have a lot of projects under construction. Santiago Park Gas House area development continues to come along. They're installing all the landscaping and the trees. We're looking at a May completion, but you really can get a sense of what that project is going to look like now, and it's pretty amazing. It's quite a transformation. Raiden Myrtle Park is a new park that we're going to be adding to the park system, probably in May also. So look for a couple of ribbon cuttings for both of those parks between spring and summer. We will keep you posted on the dates. Santa Anita Park redevelopment is also coming along really well. We're about halfway finished with the park renovations, and we are also underway with the architect, Little Diversified, who is going to be our architect for the new Santa Anita Center. So we've been going through concept studies with them, and we have also asked them to provide a concept plan or work with us to develop a concept plan of what we could potentially do if we were able to expand Santa Anita Park to the north. So that's a pretty exciting exercise that we're getting ready to take on with them as well. Dan Young Soccer Complex, we are inching closer to doing some major renovations out there. We're going to install all new Musco lighting on all the fields, and the 2 natural turf fields will get converted to synthetic turf. That is scheduled to start next month, and the plan is to have it all finished by the end of June so that we can resume reservations for July. Madison Park restroom building. We had our final inspection yesterday and accepted the project, and we are going to open it for public use starting on Monday. And I think the only other thing that I want to highlight is that There are our park maintenance division. One of the many service enhancement contracts that was awarded recently was one for sports court resurfacing. We're going to begin this summer with tennis courts. We're systematically reaching out to neighborhood associations to get their input as to whether or not they would like to incorporate pickleball as part of that. So that will occur later this summer. And at this point, I think I'm going to just close here and see if anyone has any other specific questions.
Thank you so much, Susie. Commissioner Zacarías Torres, would you like to have a question or comment?
For the Santiago Park redesign or upgrades, are there any plans for a water swell to capture any water? And my second question was also, I remember a couple years ago that there was a proposed park to be built on, I believe, Standard and McFadden. Right now it's currently being used as just like a soccer field. Are there any updates on that park?
Yes, we are in the final, we are preparing contract documents, which are plans and specifications so that we could publicly advertise. We are at about 90% and hope to advertise within the next month. And to answer your question regarding swales, that is a practice. Stormwater capture is a practice that we are standardizing with now. I'm trying to, there are areas within the gas house where we have air drainage diverted so that we don't have any swales per se, but we have areas where the water is captured and can infiltrate. The project that we will be doing, we'll have to explore that.
Any additional questions or comments for Susie?
Yeah, Commissioner Nelson here. Regarding the court resurfacing, you mentioned pickleball as being an option for neighborhoods. Last meeting, I inquired about the overall usage of the tennis courts, as what's the usage rate per court, I guess. Because I really think we're missing a huge opportunity to be able to not only use them as pickleball courts and alternative things, but futsal and soccer is one of those things I think the city could really benefit from as a program, something that they could do that's outside of the volunteers and youth organizations, but could be on their own, stand on their own 2 feet and actually create a just similar to what they do with basketball and that, but with soccer. I think there's a huge demand for it throughout Santa Ana, and then also space that we're not utilizing very well. Not very many kids are playing pickleball. It seems to be kind of a older guy my age, and it seems to be the kind of the criteria. But yeah, just wanted to see if there was any efforts in that regards.
Well, there are 6 parks where we have tennis courts. And as I mentioned, we're systematically going through the neighborhoods to get their input. And that's part of, and I guess, determining what the rates are. We're inquiring, do they use them? Do they want to see another use? We'd like to get their input as part of this analysis so that we're not doing something without their, we don't want to convert them if there isn't a community support for that. But we can look beyond the tennis courts to incorporate some of these, some additional, the futsal and other activities.
Yeah, I just think as long as we, make it a an option for those neighborhoods because, pretty much anybody from the age of 3 to the age of 60 can play futsal. It's not a overly, and even probably older for that matter. It's just it's a good small operation that can help keep kids active and adults even for that matter without a lot of the wear and tear of a full-on soccer pitch. So it's extremely popular in a lot of other cities, and I hate to miss the opportunity, especially how deeply rooted soccer is in Santa Ana.
Executive Director, you have your hand raised.
I just want to comment on it, Corey. Corey, we are taking that in consideration, but however, you would have to change the gauge of the fence and as well as the strength of the pole on these tennis courts to be able to do soccer. And that's something that's happened all over the country where they have tried to convert tennis courts into futsal, but just the wear and tear from the ball hitting the fence for the goalie. I just went through that in my previous job. So, but we are looking for other places to install pitches that are currently at the Musco pitch out at Del High, as well as we got that one coming to Capucino. But we are looking for other places to add futsals to our parks. Just FYI on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Neil Chandler tennis courts there at the corner of, was it First and Flower? Mm-hmm. I mean, all that fencing needs to be replaced to begin with. So if we're going to do that, we aim for something bigger.
Oh. Yes, sir. But yeah, we are looking at adding futsal because it is a really big sport. So we got you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nelson. Any additional comments or questions for Susie?
Yeah, Commissioner Nelson, one last one. So I know in the master plan, there's joint use with the school district and then the city. Kind of wondering, I know there's been numerous attempts to try and get the school district and the city to try and kind of collaborate. Is there any current activity in that realm to help facilitate, because there is a lot of space the school district doesn't utilize very efficiently that I think the city could benefit from?
I can speak to that. Yes, we have reactivated our technical advisory committee going back, I think, maybe towards fall of last year. So there's been a series of meetings in which the school district and Parks and Rec Community Services Agency have met. We started out with, again, trying to how do we work together? What are some of our objectives? And there's been quite a few positives and some areas of opportunity that we've already discovered. But I know that the conversation and the objective is the same. We all recognize that we're all public buildings. We recognize that, we are publicly funded for these buildings and for everything that is within, the fields and everything like that. And we're all serving the same people. So we're trying to keep that in mind and keep that as our center as we continue to talk about how we work together to provide those amenities to our residents. Like I said, small baby steps so far, but we're working towards a universal joint use agreement that will benefit all of the community and hopefully be able to utilize those spaces a little bit more. So I know that was one of Hawk's Director Scott's big things, coming from Texas and seeing it being very successful over there with the school districts that he worked with. And it's one thing that he's encouraged us to do, to work with the school district and make sure that we're moving forward on that. So we have 2 supervisors, myself and one of our recreation coordinators that make up the technical advisory committee, and we're having some good conversations. So I'm hopeful with the progress that we're making thus far.
Great to hear that, because a lot of times in the past, it seems like it's been very top heavy as far as those discussions are concerned, from council members and school board members kind of being part of those committees. And it just becomes a political playground to flex muscle. As operationally speaking, we need people like yourself and that understand what we really need down there at this level, not a political realm, but it's another discussion. But I appreciate your efforts on that. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Any additional questions? Susie, I did want to thank you for the update on Santiago Park. It's amazing. I walked out there and the progress is coming along. I'm excited for the grand opening because I know the Ward 3 residents are waiting. They're waiting for the park to be open. I know you mentioned our bathrooms are going to be available in May, so at least sometime around then. I also really appreciated the park closure notice on social media. I think I did see additional park closure notice advisory on our note on the agenda. So please continue to put that out there to the public. Hey, we're going to be closing this park till this date. And I think that way, residents are aware. So please continue to do that. I think that was great.
Will do.
I think we're coming to the end of our meeting. So next on the agenda item are commissioner comments. So this is the time for each commissioner to provide comments if you wish, but it's not required. So we'll start with Commissioner St. Matthews.
Thank you, Commissioner Herrera. I just want to thank everybody who is doing amazing jobs, providing so many different programs and services for the residents of Santa Ana. So again, I want to just thank everybody and those who were mentioned today for the Employee of the Month. Congratulations on that nomination. And just again, that's our city is growing, and I love the idea of providing more green space. We so need it, so I can't wait to see, that continuing on. Again, just I'm really grateful to be a part of the city. So thank you.
Commissioner Zacaria Torres, would you like to provide your commissioner comments?
Just wanted to congratulate all of the employees that were recognized. And I saw that they were getting a certificate, but when I was Employee of the Month, I also got a plaque that I was really proud to put on my wall. So that would be great to see as well. I'm really excited about the updates at Santiago Park, since I live right across the street from the park. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of the updates as I walk my dog through the park. I'm also excited about the new library, since we are very library deficit. I'm really excited to seeing more parks, and hopefully we can have a park in every ward. And I'm excited about all the youth programs that we have, and hopefully we can continue that streak of providing more services and amenities for all of the residents.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Commissioner Nelson, do you have any commissioner comments tonight?
Yeah, just a couple. Hats off to everybody for all your hard work and what you're doing. I know this job in many areas is not easy, but I was actually walking through my neighborhood and speaking to one of my neighbors, and there's the 10th and Flower. There's a lot that's now empty that I believe we're going to turn into a park, right? And it's got some bark mulch, and they put up some fencing in it. It looks 100 times better than it ever has, just as that, right? But it's just I'm amazed that no matter what we do as a city or as a parks department, that there's still the negativity, right? And the comments that I kept getting were, well, we're going to have a park there, and it's just going to be homeless, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. And I'm like, as a commissioner, know a little bit more than probably the normal person, and try to convey to them that this is going to be done for what the neighborhood needs, right? And there's people don't like to participate in these surveys because they just don't seem to care until it's a problem, right? So just keep doing what you're doing, and we're not going to ever make everybody happy, but just keep the grind real and keep working, because I'm excited about that park. It's real close to my house, and we'd have nothing in the area. So thank you for that. And I had one other comment that I was going to mention, but I totally lost it. So, but thank you guys. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Just wanted to mention that we're going to be on that note, Corey, regarding 10th and Flower Park. We're going to be meeting with Tom Lutz and some other community members at his house on Monday to try to put some of their fears to rest.
Oh, it wasn't Tom, but it was others with. So, hey, I mean, that's kind of an interesting part of Santa Ana from you have Washington Square on this side, you have the courthouse right there, you have the Civic Center, everything, and then you have a much more densely populated area that needs parks. Willard's overused, right? I mean, there could be a skate element, there could be all these different things that the community but I think everybody on all sides could benefit. I mean, it's better than having an empty lot for dang sure. So,
all they have to do is walk over to the edge of Willard Intermediate School and witness how many people use that tiny little playground. It is just overflowing with people, and that's what's going to be happening at 10th and Flower. I really don't think that park is going to be misused once we open it.
No, I agree. I mean, the more people you have there, the less issues you have, right? So
it will be activated. I will.
Yeah.
I'm not a betting gal, but I would place a bet on that.
Yep. So thank you.
Commissioner Gomez, do you have any commissioner comments tonight? They may not be here. I'm sorry. Commissioner Wu? Are you having some trouble there, Commissioner? I think I think you're going in and out, Commissioner Wu. I think they would like to share maybe that we can have, if we would like in-person meetings, maybe that will be helpful for the commission and our commissioners. I'll come back, Commissioner Wu. Oh, you're there? There you are.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble, and and today I had an emergency with my daughter, so this is what I had to do. But I just want to comment that thank you for all the reports. I like keeping up what's going on, especially with the new parks and the new library at Jerome Parks, which I like giving my input in the community of what we like seeing. But I just want to thank the whole staff for it. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Commissioner Wu. Commissioner Diaz, would you like to provide commissioner comments tonight?
I do. I first want to say thank you for everything you guys do, and thank you for for putting out the name of the people who are doing an outstanding job. It's always really nice to get a little certificate. Maybe a little gift card would be helpful too, like a Starbucks card or something. Also, I wanted to tell you, I like that one. Thank you. So I wanted to say that I really like to see the Instagram page that's very active. I love the logo, and I, because I really like Instagram, and I think that we reach out to a lot more people when the page is active. And so that logo, I love it. I love it. So also wanted to ask, I understand the Parks and Recs handles the special events requests and the sports fields reservation. I would like to see if staff can give us a presentation on the special events approval process and the sports field reservation process. So I'd like to find out how it works.
Absolutely. I'll ask, maybe we can maybe split it over the next 2 meetings, because I'm sure there will be a lot of questions with regards to that. But I'll invite our special events supervisor, Monique Leon, for one, and America Robledo for the other. So I'll make sure to let them know that they are being requested to give a presentation.
Also, just another question. How do we find out about the, the joint use agreements? Does that information comes over to the commission, or to the board, or is it a total different group of people, like a different board?
I think, again, I don't know, Director Scott, if you have a different approach to this, but if you, similar to what you just requested, Commissioner Diaz, if you wanted us to provide a report of the joint use agreements that we currently have and what we're working on, we can certainly put that together, and either myself or the representatives of the TAC, at least on the park side, or Parks and Recreation side, can kind of give you an update on some of the things that we're discussing and some of the items that we're working towards.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would like that. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone, for everything you do.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Diaz. Great. I think I have to provide the last comments. Yes, thank you so much, Commissioner Diaz, for talking about our Instagram. I love that you all have been so active. Go follow our Instagram at Santa Ana Parks. So much great information being published out. Recording secretary or executive director, if you can please send out contact information for maybe Director Sternberg, our zoo manager, and other staff to the commission. So then that way, in the case that we need to reach out for additional questions, we have that email. I know sometimes I've been like, hey, can you provide this email? So if it can just be shared with the whole commission, that would be great. We need to be, summer is coming. I know it's raining and it's cold this weekend, but I know maybe thinking about how to be summer ready. I know expanding our park hours during the summer, especially around our basketball courts. I know last year I was touring the parks, residents were out playing past 10, and it gets hot. And so folks are out there enjoying our parks late at night playing. So I just wanted for us to consider that again. I also want to share, we hosted a park cleanup at Santiago Park with OC Habitats, and they're going to be coming back next month on March 29th to go to do another park cleanup. And so wanted to mention that they're moving into Santa Ana, into specifically Ward 3. So, want to welcome them and their conservation efforts of our parks. And again, in relationship to our bylaws under section 4.2 of our roles and responsibilities of the commission are to act in an advisory capacity and consider the proposed annual budget for Parks and Recs. So I want to remind that, the commission that our role is to provide, to consider that. And so maybe that's something that we can bring next month. I know that the budget is coming up and I want us to be ahead of that. So we're able to provide suggestions for areas where as a commission, we feel we should be investing more in. More funding for Parks and Recs is always a great thing. I will always fight for more funding for us to do such a great job and continue doing such a great job that we do. For the presentation ideas, Commissioner Diaz, those are great. I think there's in our Parks Master Plan, there's a specific section that is on joint use. So maybe that's something that we can focus on in our next in a future presentation, is highlighting the Parks Master Plan in that specific joint use site section. I know it's not part of our agenda, but Executive Director, I don't know if you have any closing comments for the commission or for the public.
Well, I mean, not just to the public, but, to all the new commissioners here, thank you for, being a part of this and, taking the time of your day to, come, like Roberto said, you guys are a voice to our, commissioners and mayor. So, you're advocates, so you help us, but, welcome to the new ones and to the old ones. Like I told you in our second meeting together, there's a storm coming in Parks and Recreation. And as you saw today, with our library, with our zoo, with Parks and Recreation, we're stepping it up. Our events are just getting bigger and better. And it's with advocates like you guys to let us know what's going on in the community and hearing, from public comment about issues of the parks, we're gonna look into it, and, we thank you guys. It's great what you guys do. And we truly appreciate it. And like Roberto said earlier, we'd like to get back to in-person meetings so we can, the video screen's great, but you know what? We need to, whether it's at the 1600 here or even the council chambers, let's start getting, I'd like to see us to start getting back into person and start putting faces and, maybe inviting some of your friends to come, see what Parks and Rec's all about and what we do for the community. Because again, we're more than Parks and Recreation. We're out there doing, the seniors, look what's coming, we know what's coming ahead, and we're excited to start announcing that soon of the trips they have planned. They have their March dance coming up, and those dances they're wild, they're fun, they're outgoing. If you get a chance to stop by Durham, be prepared to dance. Every time I stop by, I get my hand grabbed, and I'll do one dance or two, and they're fun. They're so much fun, and if you get a chance, go check out our youth programs. Our boys basketball, so many athletes out there, and even our independent leagues, there's just kids out there. And, it takes, us as, working together as a team, it takes our commission being voices out there to understand that what we need is, support and help to where one day we can, achieve the goals we can and what spaces we have. So, to you new ones, thank you. To the existing ones, thanks for everything you guys do. And I just, wanted to echo that. And I said, Roberto, let's start meeting in person if we can. It'd be great. I think it'd be a change pace too. So, and that's all I have. Just thank you.
Thank you, Executive Director Scott. Yes, I think meeting in person, it would be great. I love the chambers because I think it's better suited for people that still want to join us virtually, can join us. I know that our community room is not up to date on tech. So I would prefer the chambers because it's, it's very accessible for folks to hear us and visually see us virtually. Great. I know this is probably our longest Park and Recs meeting in over a year. And you know what? This is great because there's so many things to talk about, so many amazing programs. And, we are here to serve the public. And I remember watching YouTube videos and it was hour-long meetings, and so now I think we're past the 2.5 hour mark. So, I think for us to maybe consider that for our next meeting, that it would be, I think, as we incorporate in presentations, that it may take up a little bit longer. So please at least anticipate, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours for our commission meetings. But without further ado, this is
Roberto, I got one more thing. I also just want to give a shout out to Susie. What she does for Parks and Recreation is beyond. She works her tail off. I can't use the word I want to use, but she is amazing. She is so invested in the city and she's so friendly. And that's another reason why I want to meet in person. So you guys should meet her. She's so genuinely humble, hardworking, and I am proud to have her as a coworker, to be honest. So I wanted to, don't start, Susie. But I just want, again, we give credit when credit's due. And, Susie, thank you for everything you do. And I guess it's not just her, it's the whole team that works together. But since she's right there, I wanted to call her out on the spot. So thank you, Susie, for everything. And Ethan and Tim, and I know Brian and the whole public works team will all agree with me.
I think I see an employee of the month certificate coming along the way.
Oh, and just Ms. Diaz, we do give out a $10 Starbucks card for each of our employee of the months, part-time and full-time.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So, and then like I said, we will be giving out employee of the years as well too, and they'll get something really special.
Oh, that's amazing.
So again, we do want to keep highlighting the hardworking community coworkers and staff we have. They're amazing.
Great. So this is the conclusion of the meeting. The next regular meeting will take place on Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. The meeting is adjourned at 7:58 p.m.
All right. See everybody.
Bye.
Good night.